channel. So today I'm going to share with you guys my living experience in Salzburg. If you haven't checked my living experience in Graz, please go click right here to check it. I think most of you guys have known about Salzburg, even you haven't been to Austria, because of this very famous movie Sound of Music. Because of my last job, I have moved to Salzburg last year and I have been living there for almost the whole year. So I have got the chance to experience this beautiful, lovely city from spring, summer, autumn and winter. So I have seen the whole year and it's amazing. The rhythm of the city is of course very slow and relaxing. A lot of these historical and tourist attractions are in the inner city, so it's a really small region. You can go through the city on foot and easily see nearly all of the famous spots. During a time when I'm living there, actually what attracts me the most is not only about the touristic spots. Actually, I have been to Salzburg many times already. So the tourist spots, I have been there, I have seen them, they're beautiful, and for me that's already okay. But what I got from living in Salzburg was, it's very interesting to see the traditional culture, the way it inhabited in Salzburg and how the people celebrating their tradition. On the street, you see a lot of people are dressing in their traditional costumes, in the Dirndl, and also in this, I don't know how does it call, but for the male, their traditional clothing. So they really love their culture and they are very proud of being Salzburger or the Salzburgerin. You can really see and feel it from their daily life, how they dress, how they behave, how they are keeping their own dialect. When I was living in Graz or in Styria, people will just wear their traditional clothes in some special days or festivals. It's kind of a very formal and glamorous dressing. But in Salzburg, this is very common. You could see a lot of old people, young people, they're all dressing in Dirndls, in this kind of Trachten, everywhere. A lot of different design of the Dirndls, which is very beautiful. A virus modernized design for Dirndls as well. They would try very much to protect their own dialect, which is, I would say, very different from where I'm from in China. Because for us, if you speak Mandarin, it's better to speak in a perfect way, accent-free, instead of with a lot of dialects in between. I found this not only interesting, but also very valuable to see people are treasuring their culture and really pay a lot of attention to keep this going on. And for housing, I think as you could imagine, it's a touristic city. A lot of tourists will go to Salzburg for holidays every year. So that also influences the housing prices. Here I'm talking about renting prices. According to my experience, the housing renting prices in Salzburg is actually just, or if it's not higher, the same as in Vienna. Another funny thing was Salzburg is a touristic city instead of a student city like Graz. That means it's actually not very common to rent a shared apartment. So if you consider, okay, I can rent a shared apartment for my study time, that could be cheaper. Actually, it's not easy to find. I tried so hard to find a shared apartment, but in the end, I still have to live on my own and pay all the costs on my own. However, as a student, if you are a bit concerning about the relatively high consumption and living cost in Salzburg, here I have a small trick for you. During the time when I was living in Salzburg, I usually will go on this, not usually, let's say once a month maximum. I will take the S-Bahn, which is the train, go through the border to Germany to buy food or some daily use goods there. Living in Salzburg is actually like in holiday all the time. So when I was living there, I don't really feel like I go to work every day. I feel like I am kind of in a holiday. I'm very relaxing, very slow rhythm, and I kind of prefer walking all the time around the city. There are so many different beautiful spots for you to discover, and very nice nature around the city as well. So in weekends you can go to the villages or the mountains or small towns or the lakes around. Because of this beautiful nature, you could kind of understand how people come up with so many great ideas or inspirations about arts, about music, about all kind of different things. If you have already finished your study and would like to look for some job opportunities in Salzburg, then first, tourism industry. That's anyway the number one industry. However, there are also other big enterprises, international companies with headquarters in Salzburg. In my opinion, this is also another sign for Salzburg that it is really a tourism and leisure city, because the most famous, or let's say some of the very famous companies from Salzburg are drink companies, like the world famous Red Bull, or this very popular beer brand Stiegl. They're all from Salzburg or Salzburg region. So the headquarters of Red Bull is at the lake called Fuschl, and this is a really, really beautiful region. The lake is super big, it's huge, it's very blue, and when the sun is shining, it looks fantastic. And that's somehow I could imagine why working in this company is so enjoyable. You just see the view and you feel like, okay, my day is worth. On the one hand, if you are a tourism student, it could be a very good place for you to find a job in Salzburg region. However, if you are a foreigner like me, this foreigner here, I'm not talking about the foreigners which are just outside of Austria but still in the EU region, but from the third country, that you should really consider if the tourism industry or in the Salzburg region, this is something you would like to go for. First of all, if you're just a new fresh graduate from school, the pay of the industry is relatively low. And the special case about Austria is if you would like to obtain a residence permit, here we call it a red card, to work in Austria, there is a minimum salary required. And unfortunately, a lot of positions in the hotel industry or in the tourism industry, the salary is not high enough for it. So do pay attention to it and consider it before you move to the city. And here are the two places I recommend. First, definitely along the Salzach, the river. So if you have a bike, you can bike along the river bank. It's relatively cool in summer, and you just continuously biking along the river, and you will see some small lakes, and you could go swimming there or just have a sun bath, all kind of things. And in the weekends in summer, sometimes around these small lakes close to the city, they will have music festival or some kind of parties. And another thing I love to do in Salzburg is visiting the beer gardens, and when the weather is nice, I would like to sit outside, enjoy the sun, have a coffee or a beer. I drink much more beer after move to Salzburg, I must say. If you visit Salzburg or you live in Salzburg, and there's something you must see is the Christmas market. Which one? The one in Heilbronn. So Heilbronn is a palace, and they have a very big garden, and every year during the Christmas time they have the most beautiful Christmas market in the whole Salzburg, I would say. This is a real fairy tale. Actually, last year I have also made a vlog about the Christmas market in Heilbronn, so if you haven't checked it, please go check it. So that's all so far about my living experiences in Salzburg. I think I have missed a lot of stuff. So if you guys would love to share more experiences or interesting stories while you were in Salzburg or living in Salzburg, please leave the comments down there, and I am very looking forward reading about your experiences. That's it, the second episode of Living in Austria. So I will see you in the next episode. Bye!